Hi guys, what's up? How are you doing? Welcome to episode 3 of Is It Scripted? Yay! All of you clap now. Better. How you guys doing? How you deal with Dyer?
I'm great. I'm great.
Whatever. We have a guest today.
Yeah.
This one is very special. This is a very special guest.
Oh,
like, if you guys don't know, then there would have been a chance that he would have been like my co-host on Is It Scripted, but boy ran away. But whatever. He's back. We considered him to be back as a guest.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing, Daphne?
I'm doing great, aside from capitalism kicking my ass. That's by the way, but I'm good.
He's doing 9 to 5 and he doesn't know how to tell you guys.
Right.
Sorry, we can't relate. 9 to 5ers. Oh, yo. So on this episode, to talk about Battle Camp.
Yay! One of my favorite shows right now.
Favorite shows?
Really?
How?
Right now, yeah.
Battle Camp.
Yes. Imagine
Why do
like
you sound like we don't like it? Me, I like it. So let me know
I don't
that to
like
you
it.
guys.
so. Here's the thing: bringing a bunch of past reality stars with
Stars.
reality stars
Yeah,
with the
gross.
biggest personalities on Netflix reality, because the Netflix reality metaverse is like a place on its own, right?
Right.
Bringing these stars and putting them into one show, aside from Perfect Match, it's not a love show, right?
Yeah.
I'm very
I don't know,
excited.
my
I want to
head
see them
is-
because I'm a fan of the challenge, Survivor, and the likes.
Right.
So I was really excited to see the Netflix stars, because whenever one of them would go on shows like that, I would be so excited. So I was
see
like,
them.
yay, let's see what they can do physically.
Well, I'm very skeptical about the word stars from your context, but I don't know, Sean. Because most of them, especially the ones that are in the circle, well, Bree won. What's her show?
Too hot to handle.
Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Now here's the thing. Here's my take on getting a bunch of stars, according to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to address them as stars.
I mean,
They're not stars. Do you know what
okay.
star is?
Okay, relatively.
Okay, they are what?
Relatively.
They're just shows.
So relatively, I think I understand. No, I'm not going to use the word understand. I don't understand where you're coming from.
Oh, you
but
don't?
I think I don't.
They're not
But then I
stars now,
think
apparently, no.
that. Hold on. I think that I respect your opinion, probably
Right.
from your point of view. In today's world, I'm going to say this because we're getting judged by like your follower count right now. We're digital now, and in today's digital world, you see somebody like Mila Kunis who doesn't have like an Instagram, but is still like locking down most of the outside the world, or probably let me use like in the world generally. We have a system, right, that works elsewhere, that worked in another time, where you can just be a star without having any social media presence.
True.
And you would be on the biggest in America, in Hollywood. Once you've done like a few box office hits, you almost can't go digital anymore. You have to wait and do 3-4 projects a year and make your money. You really can't do the small shows anymore. So you don't even have to have an Instagram. Just show up, act, and you get paid. Do you understand what I mean?
Right.
But like right now, the world is being judged by your follower numbers, and people on Love is Blind, literally, when you go on that show, that's the biggest Netflix reality shows, you come outside with millions of followers.
Millions of followers.
Everybody's interested in what you're saying. Brands want to work with you. You're on shows. You're doing stuff. You're being invited to fashion shows. You're walking the wrong way in some of the biggest fashion shows in the world. In today's world, that is considered a star.
Well, I don't
Nice,
agree.
Abby.
Anyways. No. Actually, here's the thing. I do agree with you that, being tagged as a star now is very centered on, it's very centered
On the digital
around
space.
digital, what your digital numbers are, how influential you are across social media platforms and all the rest of that. But I still don't think that the guys that they brought back for Battle Camp are the most influential of their shows. I do not.
So that's why you
Well,
don't consider
So some of them might
That's why you
have.
don't consider
That's why
them
I wouldn't
stars.
consider most of them the stars of their respective shows.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not necessarily stars in it in the sense of the word itself. Do you know what I'm saying? But now that is not my major problem. Now my major problem is trying to get a hit show by bringing the most controversial people on the various shows on a single show to make it hit. But then again, it didn't hit as the organizers and producers thought it would.
Yeah.
Now,
or maybe it wasn't well planned. I think that was the problem.
The planning of Battle Camp, I don't think that
it's
I
the
would have
execution.
faulted planning or execution in itself. No, I don't think I would have. It's the way that I saw that okay, while I was watching, I think the 4 episodes, some camera guys and some technical crew members appeared on camera, like in the shot. But then I remember, if you remember watching Good Ultimate Search back in the day, you remember that it's not, there are some shows that you cannot necessarily structure.
Yes.
When there are technicalities, they have to jump off a ridge, they have to jump off a cliff, they have to, do some very,
there would be
very not in their what's the word? Not in their comfort zone kind of move.
Yeah.
Of course, they need to have guidance, and in some cases, they have to appear on camera. So if that is the angle that you're looking at it from, in just the technicality of it and the organization, I don't think that you can fault them with that.
No, not for that one. I think it's the show itself.
Okay.
I felt that if I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 4. Maybe a 4, because
On what premise?
it wasn't. There was no. So on other shows,
there was no depth.
There's the depth, yes, and then this suspense. It's just like you could literally tell what's gonna happen next.
I think
the only suspense is
they have
the
to
wheel.
roll the wheel, yeah.
That's just the thing. And I think that they should not actually eliminate somebody on that. I think
based
off
on
of
the
the
wheel,
wheel and all of
also,
that.
do you know what I think? Right, I'll start from the very beginning. When I first saw the show, I saw the idea of the show. I was like, oh yeah, exciting. They've never done something like this before. I see the show, and the first thing that came to being a fan of Survivor, I go, oh yes. This person watched Survivor and went, oh, I could be a showrunner for Netflix. Let's pitch this idea. And Netflix being Netflix, they are digital. They'll take anything.
Especially when the cast members are controversial
and the
guys from
reality
previous
shows are doing better. They're doing so well now. So they're trying to maximize using that platform as well.
And also using the same people.
But I also think that using the same people was also a genius idea.
Yeah,
I think the show in itself, genius idea, right? Using the same past reality shows from Netflix, genius idea as well. Now, the wheel is the brightest idea of that show. And let me tell you why. When we'll see, because Netflix, you can't vote on real time. You can't vote in real time, rather. They do a thing where the housemates inside will always vote for one off. And every time they do that, there's usually always, like, the drama is intense. Like, you can watch the mole and be like, oh, what is going on? You can tell that they're selling these shows well. But then you now go to a show like Battle Camp, where it's like literally like unpredictable. Gabby left with just one name on the board. Do you understand? I think that the wheel is a genius idea. What they lacked was depth. There was nothing aside from the controversies here and there. People that tried to betray.
There weren't even enough controversies.
There wasn't enough depth. Like, you needed, when you watch shows like Survivor, you will go years talking about shows like Challenge. We'll go years talking about one season, and just give me eye points, give me eye moments where I go, oh yes, now this is a show. And I don't think right now Netflix has never been able to do that with any of their shows. And I think it's just looking, because when you look at these other shows, they came from cable TV. Right? They had to do so much to sell it.
Yes.
They had to go above and beyond. Now everybody's eating up digital anyway, it's being served. So we're like, man, let them
there's nothing about it. We just have to watch it.
But we're looking at it from like a different angle, and we know that they did flop with the story this time.
No, they actually did. Now, here,
I think you should give a breakdown to anybody listening.
Oh yeah! Oh my
Battle Camp
goodness!
is all
The
about.
show's been so intense.
It's been so intense.
So it's Battle Camp, almost like a Big Brother reunion type of thing.
All
stars type of thing. But in this context, the housemates are like a conglomerate of different shows rather than different seasons.
Different
of
reality
Big Brother.
shows.
So it's different reality shows. You have the Circle, Perfect Match, Too Hot to Handle, and a bunch of other shows.
Circle.
So the show Battle Camp now brings a bunch of controversial housemates from different seasons, different reality shows, contestants from different seasons of these reality shows. Bring them together in a battle in the camp. So in the United States, it's going for camp is something that they do like an extracurricular activity. The way we go for excursion in a zoo and stuff like that. So they go to camp and spend like about a week. Have
usually the entire summer.
Yeah,
so sometimes it runs into like 3 weeks, 1 month.
So it's like summer camp is what it is for them. They have like a week, 2 weeks, and maybe sometimes a month away from the four corners of school to learn out of the school, like, or to have like an outer school experience is what summer camp is for them in the United States. So it's what's the word now? Transformed to like a how reality show type thing. So almost like the same experience. They go hiking, they go whatever kind of activity that
climb,
experience. They climb, they jump, every other thing, they swim, jump in lakes and the rest of that. Experiences in summer camp brought on to reality.
They even
TV.
had a tree house.
Yeah, they had it. Had a tree house.
Yeah.
Now, some housemates I felt like were needed on the show. Some
Michael.
What was
you
Bree?
Need to name
what
drop.
Did Bree? What was Bree doing, or what did Bree come to do?
We had to have a love interest. I was dying.
No. Here's the thing.
I was dying for some romance.
No, with Louis. No, here's the thing.
No.
They had brought Damari.
So,
If
let
they
me
had
tell
brought
you.
Damari from why do I keep forgetting this nonsense show? What's the show that Bree won? Can somebody help
Too
me?
Hot to Handle.
Why did they not bring? Now Damari and Bree won their season of Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
And they were supposedly dating.
That's
of course they
how it
dated on
usually
social
is.
media for a while. First off, I think we even need to dial back a bit. All of these shows where we see that the arc of the show is to get a couple either by getting married or a successful relationship, it almost never works. You realize that after the show, after a while, they are never together.
I think that
it sort of like defeats the entire arc of the show
entire
itself.
purpose of the show, yeah.
The show is structured season in, season out to produce a successful couple that in hopes that they get married, and they never get married. What then is the intent?
I'm such a love person, and I would defend Love Is Blind with my last breath. So like when you see shows like Too Hot to Handle,
right.
Perfect Match,
right.
These shows are designed in a way that those relationships will not hold water. Because first of all, Too Hot to Handle is solely based on a sexual.
Yeah.
We've seen Love Island produce actual couples. Because there's a different. We've seen The Bachelorette, we've seen The Bachelor. Now, those ones, we're talking about shows that have a bit more groundwork. You bring them with the idea of no sexual nonsense, and you're hoping in your heart that they break the rules to provide enough drama for TV, right?
Right.
They break the rules, do a lot of sexual nonsense. Somebody has to sell it to win the show.
Right.
They sell it love till the end. It's interesting. You know how you can get all cozy and then start liking somebody
because you're in the confines of the space, right?
For like a few months.
You come out,
period of time.
and they don't even cast them based on like their location, like Love Is Blind would do. They cast them from different countries. So they go outside and now like. Even for Perfect Match, they cast them from different countries.
Right.
And you go out and then you now have to start figuring out logistics and stuff like that.
Have to fly to see your partner.
Nobody does that.
Ooh.
But like with Love Is Blind now, the idea of the show is to, first of all, their casting process is amazing. I love it. They go around like stalkers and psychopaths DMing people on Instagram. Don't do that. Y'all need to stop that. Stop randomly DMing people to come on your show. Right? They look for people that are single, that are, relatively ready to get married. Put them on the show, have them go through this intense experience, and then they come out. When you see people that have ended their engagements on any season of Love Is Blind, aside from Love Is Blind UK, that show was shady as.
Yeah.
Can I swear?
Please don't swear. You can't swear. Swear, please.
That show was shady as fuck. Anywho,
Bleep.
Love Is Blind America, right? It's designed in a way that they bring them from the same city, so like there's some sort of like balance when it comes to logistics and stuff like that. Get them through an intense experience, and we actually have a Love Is Blind baby now. Yeah, it took us years. Vanessa cried and cried and cried for that. Finally got a baby. Thank you very much.
But was it via surrogacy? I think I heard it was via surrogacy.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Bliss was actually pregnant.
Oh
yeah, loved it.
All right, so now let's move on to the actual housemate for Battle Camp. We've argued that some of them weren't supposed to be there. It was a poorly structured show.
I second that Brie wasn't needed.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to start that? I don't need you to start it.
Because when she was introduced, and then she got to like the camp house,
right?
And she kept on saying she knows how to win. That's what she knows how to do. She's strategy. And it got to the actual challenge, and then I'm like,
she wasn't able to
what are you doing? Step on it.
I think that she misunderstood the modus operandi of the show. So now, because you want to how to handle, doesn't give you an edge.
But that's not that kind of show is very different from Battle Camp. Here you have to bring on the energy, you have to bring on the muscles, you have to bring on the strategy too, because this one people are ready to take you out, and then aside that, the challenge you have to win for your team.
And
so
then the wheel
all of
also
this,
can't send anybody out.
Exactly.
That, for me, that's the part of the show where I didn't F with a lot. It's the most interesting for you. Of course, I also understand, from the organizer's point of view that it is the part of the show that holds the most suspense. Of course, in a way,
the wheel.
The wheel. I mean, some people would argue that it was or wasn't scripted. Whether it was or wasn't, of course, it held the most
So do you
suspense
think
of the
that
entire
it
show.
was scripted?
Of course, there's a way to script such. I mean, there's a way that you spin it.
No, I did think about that. I was like, what if? Because when
The wheel was scripted.
Louis and then
So how Tony never went home?
Tony, right?
Do you like? Is there?
Nick as well. I'm like, what's going on?
Why is Tony not going
Or
home?
Trey.
Or Trey.
Or Trey.
Or Trey.
Bro, like,
and they voted
so
on
the
time by
He was
time.
on that board for like seven
times.
plus,
And then nothing happened.
Maybe I don't believe in
Same
it.
as
And
Nick as
the
well.
reason they actually left him was because everybody wanted Trey to go home.
So it felt
and
like
then
he
they
could-
just had to keep him there. Because when I think who went home the day Trey was supposed to go home? I can't really remember that. But then when it was Trey, 7 times on the wheel, and after that, the next day, people were like, what's up with this guy? What's up with this guy? He's still here until he left, I think, at the 8th or 9th episode. I think 9th episode.
No, he left for the 9th episode.
9th episode,
Yeah.
yes. So that was when he left. And if he had not left, probably, maybe, just maybe, he would have won
Would
the
have
show.
won the show.
But then I feel like the wheel is actually scripted. But for Tony,
Yeah, let's talk about Tony's
that boy's a crazy boy.
gameplay for a bit. Tony felt like
Tony.
that. What's that thing? That growth on your body that is there. It doesn't hurt, but it never leaves. Whether it's a symbiotic or it's parasitic, it's just on your body.
Just
so.
there.
I think that at some point I understood why he was playing the way that he played. Of course, he was a game player. Take it or leave it. Whether people thought it was good or people thought it wasn't good. How he, of course, almost betrayed Louis and almost every other person that. And
I don't agree with that.
No. See, he's a game player. I think he understood more than every other person
So
on
why
that
did
show.
he leave?
Chill now. I think he understood more than everybody on that show that it was a game. I think there is this perception of contestants coming on shows like this. There's this perception they have in their head that they are coming there to make friends. But
nobody's your friend.
You're coming here to win. To win.
And
He
that's
had
the
this winner mindset through and through, and whoever was going to go down in his place, he was ready to put that person down.
Yeah.
Be it Louis or any other person that, whoever came up as a threat, he was ready to send the person home.
Yeah.
So whether the housemate understood it whilst they were right there playing the show or doing the show, whether they understood it or not, it didn't matter to him. And to be fair, the reason why I F with him and the actuality of it is because that's the kind of person that I can be if I should be on such a show.
So for me, it's one of two things. Now, what's his name now? Tony's coming from a show, and I would reference a lot of like the other
The
shows.
previous shows
It's
that they've
coming
been
from
on.
The Mole, which is a very strategic. That's like one of the most strategic shows on Netflix,
Yes.
right? But Netflix still doesn't do enough when it comes to putting the prize money for this contestant. Netflix really doesn't put a lot of effort into it, and then that's why like you see that they don't have as much they don't have as much grit. Now, the reason I'm saying that is when you go on a show like The Challenge, when the prize money is usually $1 million, where you have to share 500K, or sometimes it's 250K, 500K, it's more heightened. People have won the show. People are coming back to win the show. It's ruthless. It's literally insane. There's so much more like you can get from that, right? But here, I think on Netflix, the reason all of them, they all come into the show not having that game mindset is because one, the money is underwhelming. Like you go to the circle and then you see why is everybody so combined? It's 100K. It's 100K.
It's not so much.
After taxes, Sam won the show. That's like my favorite winner of the circle. There was no change in our lifestyle. Nothing happened. No significant upgrade. I'm sorry, but like no significant upgrade.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that you've just highlighted, the lack of zeal and grit regarding the prize money. $1 million secrets. You remember how tedious and how how far they had to fight
For the
to
money,
win
to
the
win the
moolah.
money.
You know, of course, that's another show on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think I would also call it reality TV because it's sort of
Yeah.
reality
No, like
TV. Of course, it
reality as
is.
well.
Yes.
You know, and you know, the prize money was $1 million. So they fought and fought for, you know, that prize. I also thought, because I follow Louis on Instagram.
Sorry, Netflix is just rude. Netflix is rude. Do you know why?
Why?
Perfect match. Like, they keep doing seasons of that show without prize money. And you expect them to come and fight to stay in the house. These people, like, when you watch the time when they're about to mingle and they make sure they get to bed,
Very
everyone's just
unenthusiastic. Everybody just drags. Like,
we're going home. Oh yay! It's like vacation.
Here's the thing.
So people don't bring on, you know, that 100% energy
No,
to the show,
zero.
because not so much.
If the challenge was off camera, people will kill for that money. That's how crazy it is. Johnny Bananas would have killed somebody 10 times. West would have killed Johnny would have killed like 10 times to get that money. Literally. So, like, when you come from shows like that and you go into, like, this is the purpose of the show, people need to be as strategic as possible, but they're not giving that. You need to give them something to motivate them.
It's the same thing, like I was talking about Big Brother last season when we're doing the review for Big Brother. You have housemates like, say, Sean, and housemates like, you know, them bougie housemates from, say, the UK and all.
Yeah.
When you realize that they are very well to do. You know, what's the money you're bringing in comparison to what they have and what they ride on with at the moment. I follow Louis on Instagram and he flies like around the clock.
Yeah.
And of course, you know how sort of expensive, you know, getting plane ticket is in the United States. And of course, he's like an ambassador for various brands.
These are
somebody like that on the show and you think that 250k is enough money to get them to roll on the floor and
before taxes you're getting like 180
to roll on the floor and, you know, jump off clips in enthusiasm for
and one more thing I read about Netflix, they don't pay the cast fee is very underwhelming.
Yes, for everybody, because
not everybody,
because you can search them on IMDb, it means that they were paid cast whether they win or whether they do not win. It means that they have or would have been paid to be on the show.
Like how much? Because if the winner
it doesn't run into thousands.
There's usually an
so that's not so much.
He probably could or would.
Like per episode, it doesn't run into thousands.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's like probably between 400 to 800 per episode.
What?
Dollars.
Yes. So if you don't stay long on the show, you're
nothing.
Paid per episode.
So the first person that left, let's say Lexi, I think I was Lexi because Tony took her out. That's like 400 to 800.
Yeah, and they probably pay a flight ticket back to wherever she's coming from.
They like logistics.
So now, do we now have to think about it before actually heading to a particular show, or we just forget the fact that, you know what, let me forget about the money and let's just focus on
why most people come on the shows for like the fame,
visibility, the fame
stuff,
that it would actually bring to
just
me.
Being on Netflix is a flex. I mean, in today's world. So, like,
what do you mean in today's world? There's no yesterday's world of being on Netflix. You only be on Netflix in today's world.
Like, it has now gotten easy to go on Netflix right now. Like, this is a time where it became
Nigerian
really
Netflix
easy.
or out of the country Netflix?
Out of the country Netflix.
What's Nigerian?
Sorry, there's Nigerian.
Sorry, I know.
There's Nigerian.
No, I'm like
anything can go on Nigerian Netflix.
No,
anything.
Because
it's the ghetto.
Why would you not come on?
It is the
What's
ghetto.
Nigerian Netflix?
No, it's the ghetto.
What's that?
Naija.
Just like
what's their handle on Instagram?
Netflix
Naija. That's Nigerian Netflix.
Oh, please, there's no rubbish. See,
honestly, wait, there's not like what's there?
No, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like when you go to their office, you see it. Netflix Naija.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
I know, but
Netflix
I know that it's a thing. But I'm talking about, you know, the kind of things that is on it, the kind of movies, the whatever thing that is there.
He said, I'm
always so tense.
No, anybody can go on Netflix. I'm not pissed anymore. I used to be pissed because right now Netflix is now 7,000 naira, so it's enough to be pissed.
And then you don't get a lot of things that, you know, we should see.
It's not even just that. It's so we saw like. I'm so sad that we're moving this conversation, but we saw Prime Video. Prime Video came, and then it was the ghetto.
You guys are out.
And we kept on trying to hold on for dear life to Netflix. I said, Netflix, please save me. And then they didn't. So, they threw us out.
Yeah.
Bad content every single time.
Do you mean for Prime or for Netflix?
Netflix.
My problem with Prime is just very difficult to subscribe to Prime. But let's come back to Battle Camp. Right, you have to have like let's not go the Amazon card and all of that nonsense. QT and Avery. So now, of course, whilst on the show, they had to do some challenges and, perform some tasks and the rest of that.
Ooh,
the most stupendous and the most irritating, really disgusting task that they had to do was to spell or
disgusting, irritating. Not the task. I think the people involved because I want to. Them now. While I was watching that episode, I want to understand what happened in that episode. So now when was it Chase or Kylie? I can't remember one person. I think it's Chase. Is that Chase or Kylie that got one the spelling of ocean? And this guy says that because you got it correctly, I might just have to go back to college. And when he said that thing, it made me realize that the way it happens in Nigeria, where you from primary school to secondary school, then you must go to university. If you don't go to the university, it looks as if you have failed in life.
Yeah.
But over there, after your normal whatever
your
thing,
GDs,
if you don't go to college, it's fine. You can just go and do whatever you want to do and all of that. I feel like the people that would even go to college are the ones that have like the brain to actually get to college. And it now makes me to realize that these people that are here, you see that if people don't have sense, so you cannot spell. If say Nigerian, how would you fail? Please help me spell echo, whatever way, ecosystem.
Should be
help me spell advantage.
Echo. I had echo.
Even if you had echo, don't you know what it is?
I will break this to your head. What do you mean you had? He said, what the host, Taylor, I can't remember his name. Taylor. Spell ecosystem.
Please help me spell it.
I thought he had echo. Like, even if he, I understand that they're heavily accented.
Even though.
No, wait, let me land. They're heavily accented, but nobody dare say Nigerian that you say you had
when Taylor, said that this challenge is just going to be about spelling.
I was going to hear. So the winner said Seneki. Did you watch Spelling Bee? Did you see Akila and the Bee? I was expecting all of them difficult words.
I can spell that. That's not Z. It's XANO
and I'm
XIS.
And I'm hearing.
I will never ever fail that.
Advantage.
When the last part when you spell xanthosis, spell it. Xanthosis, it was like Z. No, it's not Z. It says XAN. That's how to spell it.
Yeah.
And then somebody's telling you to spell ocean.
Palmer is that girl.
They're telling me to spell ocean.
Literally.
You're thinking about how to spell ocean. So now,
that was the part of the show where it communicated to me that it was heavily scripted.
Okay, if they cannot spell ocean, so you cannot spell advantage. Advantage, ADA.
ADA. I won't see. I don't understand. People be saying I'm use my money buy my phone. I won't smash my phone because but
QT was there. Before any other person, QT was there. She was spelling, while spell sabotage or spell this, and she was saying it back then. I think there's another word. She spelled everything correctly until it got to her turn to be, on the hot seat, and then your word is advantage, and somebody's telling you. Somebody's telling you that word
could have been nerves.
Okay, so advantage.
Hold on. I think that honestly. Right, that challenge in particular, I honestly just get it. I get how you can get up there and fumble. It wasn't on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose. And honestly,
it wasn't on purpose. But that was stupid of them to miss those words.
Let me even highlight your point to him. QT spelled every word correctly until it was her turn.
It's very easy to be able to spell these words like right when you're not on the hot seat. I just believe that I don't think if it was me, I would have fumbled. But like that, it goes without saying that.
Would she intentionally? So it means that she intentionally sabotaged that particular thing.
No, she didn't.
If it was the mole, I'll say okay, she's the mole. If it was the mole, if it was we were watching the mole, and I said okay, at that point QT was the mole, and then Avery had every right to be upset because why would you?
Because honestly, when Avery started like throwing tantrums, because that's what I think it was. She was projecting.
Of course,
she was projecting because honestly, like I didn't believe for a second that QT did that on purpose. 1 and 2.
Please, let's break this down in the syllabus thing that we do.
Like every
Where did you see the A?
Every letter in that word.
I did not say advantage.
Yeah.
I did not say advantage. I said ad. That's AD. That's an advantage. VANtage. She should break it down now. Come on. Where's the A coming from?
I'm begging to disagree, or I agree to disagree with Dafe that she was tensed,
What kind of tense is that?
But that's a lie. So here's the thing: I'm sort of sitting on the fence with this particular arc of the show, because Avery overshot that campaign thing. Like, she was over projecting. She wasn't just projecting; she was over projecting, because at some point I think she realized, but she had already moved on with the campaign thing, that everybody should vote against her because she misspelled the word to sabotage the crew. But here's another angle, or here's another point itself. Do you think that Shubi downplayed himself on that show to be under the radar through and through to get to the final?
Shubi.
Yes.
So yes, one thing I know for
so.
sure is Shubi is very smart.
Very.
Shubi is one of the smartest people on that show. Was one of the smartest people
I think
on that
he's
show.
even one of the smartest people on reality TV.
On
all of them
Netflix
shows.
reality TV, right? Because watching Shubi from Circle, he was very smart.
Yeah.
He was very smart. Still has been. And Shubi has the ability, especially like in shows where, because it was just online, and Shubi was there to like the end, I think. So like online is very lovable. Like Shubi would do so well on bigger reality shows.
Yeah.
Literally just fly under the radar and fuck shit up. So I think that there could have been probably episode 1, episode 2 was just being himself, and he thought about it. Oh, these bitches are not voting me.
Yeah,
okay,
they're
like
not
every single time they're not voting me.
Another reason. Do you think that
Because like when they did the other challenge on water, and then like the first time it was just fumbling, doing nonsense.
When the catching of the ball.
Then when they there was at some point they gave him at some point when the other guy Kyle couldn't be the what do they call them?
The person that had to run.
He took the ball and he got it that one time. Because everybody, they were like riding on him to do it. And it was quite easy. I was like, boy, why were you falling down the first time? What's wrong with you?
Here's the thing. I think it had to do a lot with, I wouldn't say race, but you know that Shubi had this Asian feel.
I think Shubi's from India.
I think it's Indian.
Yeah,
so
Indian.
he had this not very American look, and it sort of translated to the way that he was treated on the show, almost like a minority. Do you get? If you look at it holistically, he wasn't seen, and he wasn't not seen because he wasn't a strong contender. He was not seen because he didn't look like the rest persons. So almost like the good kind of racism.
I don't agree with that.
Actually,
I actually do.
The reason I don't agree with that is we've gotten to a point where personalities are like such a big deal. So like regardless of if people are going to treat you some certain way because of how you look, or just basically move into a stereotype and then like look at you a certain way, you can like personally, it takes just effort to shine. So if Shubi wanted to shine on the show, I believe that it would have. So I keep going back to these shows and how strategic they are. On a show like what do they call it? Challenge. Let's say it's on the show with someone like Johnny Bananas. And Johnny Bananas needs like an extra vote. It calls Shubi in. Shubi takes the vote, right? Starts playing with Johnny Bananas, and now he's stuck in the middle. If Shubi is in that kind of, any sane person in that kind of situation would play both sides. If Shubi was in that kind of situation, no matter how strategic the game is, Shubi would not. It would act oblivious. I'm not joking. So that already shows that he's also putting himself like in a box, literally. Because when you talk about gameplay, Shubi had the least gameplay of everybody.
No.
So for me,
I disagree.
I think what he's doing is actually intentional. You know, where he finds himself, because at some point in his team, I think that was the Bear. I think he was on the Bear, right? When they still had 3 teams, that's the Bear, Eagle, and the Wolves, right? Somebody, I can't remember who, probably it was QT or what's the name of this real estate guy? Is it Gio?
Gio.
Yes. Somebody mentioned that I think if we push should be forward at some point. Nobody is onto him, and it's intentional. I think Shubi is doing that intentionally because it's just like $1 Million Secret, the winner. Nobody suspected her from the beginning. What's her name? Kara. Nobody suspected her from the beginning because you just put yourself in a position where if you want, I'm gonna stay back. Everybody be forward. Tony is a forward person. He's always in everybody's faces.
So it's a forward person as well.
Don't
the
do
same
that.
thing. So I think it's intentional.
No, I'm talking about like Tony on a show. Don't do that. Next time you're on a reality show, do not be the first person talking gameplay.
That's so problem.
Don't do it.
It works for him.
I mean, it works for him.
If Tony did not come off
that's
that
the
way,
the dynamic of the wheel worked for him.
Yes.
If he was on another show, the instant he did that, they'll kick him out.
Yeah,
they will kick him out.
That's the thing. See, truly and genuinely, your ability to understand the shows that you're on,
it's very important.
Your ability to play it well without sentiment, without here's my friend, no, we're good, we're on previous shows together. Baby, nobody cares about that.
I think I'll give that one to Louis, right?
Yeah, like I never
when
saw
he had
Trey.
to Bree, he had to say that.
Oh no,
I'm not here because of Gara. I'm here because of the money.
Even
so we just have to put
that's
away.
like the entire situation with Trey as well. I kept on looking at the situation from a very non-emotional, non-sentimental viewpoint because I saw the game that he played, and every single time, still, let me tell you something, Trey, it was messy, but Trey is sort of like me in a way.
Okay,
now, I wouldn't have done any of the things he did, but I'm not one to be called out and deny shit. I will.
He never denied it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and then he mentioned that this is a game.
He defended himself. He said if he got to any point where he had to choose again,
he would choose himself.
And I was like, that is it. See, casting directors are looking for Trey right now. Those bitches are on the phone trying to talk to whoever is his agent. We want him on our show because that right there, that's like reality TV material.
I'm going to ask you a question now. If you're on any reality show, would you be emotional or you're going to drop the emotions at the gates? And when you're done, you pick it up. Because I think he wasn't emotional. A lot of people there were emotional. People, Louis, with Bree, yes, at some point. Okay. I think when they were trying to take her out, he couldn't join. He had to. He just had to go. He betrayed her in a way, but he did not take her out. So I think for Trey, at some point, Trey and Louis, I think it was Trey that actually, sort of took him out because they had this thing with the beers and things like that. So for you, would you drop the emotions and I'm gonna face this thing like this, whatever I mean,
like, to answer your question, I've seen way too much reality shows to not have a strategy right now, because at some point in my life, I think I will get on a reality show. But
tell me about it.
My strategy for me, basically, and I think it's the same thing. When Louis and Trey had the conversation where they were talking, Louis mentioned that in situations like this, there's usually that one person from the losing team that makes it all the way.
Yeah.
And then immediately he said that, I'm like, I just knew it. I'm like, this boy has seen, like, these are survivor people. When you see a survivor, somebody that watches as a fan, because that's usually like the MO on Survival, right? For somebody like me, I just think life is not black and white. To win any show, right, you need strategy and heart. I will go into any reality show with full strategy. I will go into the show to win and always put myself forward, do what's best for myself. But if you do just strategy, trust me, you won't win. It will be very difficult for you to win. You have to actually have some art, and that's like, it comes from a place where even if everybody knows that you're playing strategy, you have to have 2 or 3 people that believe that
what you're doing is
what you're
genuine.
doing is for the greater good. Now it comes to this, you have to pick one. It's either your personality or full on strategy. Let's say you're playing full on strategy, but your personality is still very bubbly, very friendly. You're the one that's always helping people. You're making sure everybody's okay, but when it comes to the game, you're like, see, this is how I'm voting, this is how I'm voting. And people can recognize that. All you need is 2 or 3 people in your circle that are able to vouch for you. Trust me, with that, you will win. When they were collating the scores for the circle season that Sam won, It was literally that. She didn't even know she was going to win, because it came to a point where, who are your friends now? Like, who is cool with everybody? Who can we? Most people ranked her at number 5, 4, 3. She never even got. I think she only got to number 1 like one time. But like all of that middle eye rankings got her number 1. So that already shows that's how you play the game.
So who do you think was less strategic in
The
this
least?
battle? Yes, in this battle
In
camp.
battle camp.
Yeah,
I think I want you
person
to
with
answer first.
The person with the you feel like the person with the least strategy, and this person, you know, I'm just coming to this show. Let's see what is going to happen, and we just go with the flow.
Going with the flow. Who went with the... See, they all came with strategy.
Yeah.
But
With the so now I'm talking about the person that you feel like has the least strategy.
how would you... let me ask
Somebody
this.
that didn't play too much into their strategy.
Okay, I think that's it. But who... Did Louis come on that show with a strategy?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
think Louis for me.
I honestly don't believe he came on the show with his strategy.
With Louis thinks maybe he is a heartthrob, so he came with
That's what
the
he is.
previous
Louis is
show's
in love with
strategy.
every girl.
Right.
Every girl is sees.
So
does
Louis
he think it?
too hot to handle.
Right. I was
His too hot to handle
disagree.
strategy was I'm fine boy, I get everybody, yada, and obviously that didn't play for him here.
Because this is a different kind of show. This
Right.
is
So
not
I
even...
would say that he came with the least executed strategy, because when Bria came, I thought I was going to be okay. Now my girl is here. We're going to now be lovey-doveys, but of course that didn't play into the actual. It didn't play into the arc of the show. Like it didn't contribute anything whatsoever.
She wasn't forming connections, wasn't forming relationships.
So I
like,
would
girl,
say
look
Louis.
at you. You're so pretty. Your first pick should be Lorenzo and Georgia.
As soon as
Become
Brie
their
came into the
friend.
house,
No,
we were all intimidated.
so the thing is, one thing about if you come on the show, if they're taking someone out and then you come on the show and then
Midway.
you see somebody that you know from your previous
your show.
previous show, you tend to want to click
Yeah.
with the person,
Because that's a
right?
familiar person, you know.
Yeah. And it's a game regardless. Like, you have to have one person that will give you all the entire download of what has been happening and who to look and who to avoid. But I don't think that's a good strategy either, because like when you come into like a show midway, you can see that people have formed relationships. There's a 50% chance that the person that you're most familiar with is trying to give you an analysis based off of their relationships with people.
Yeah, and
You
not
need
the
to
actual
form your
thing, your own. Like you need to see the game
relationships
from your own
So
lens.
it's just
From
like
your own
if
POV.
I have an issue with somebody, definitely I want you to also inherit that.
That's
Inherit
exactly
the
what
enemy
Polly,
and not
Polly and
That's what
Gio
Polly and Gio did.
That's what they did
It
for
was
the entirety
annoying.
of the show.
It
Gio
was
has
annoying.
an issue with QT or has an issue with any other contestant. Polly automatically has a problem
has
with
an
her
issue.
show. And
That's wrong.
That's wrong. So
Very
now
wrong.
let's swing quickly into some of the challenges and the punishments that they had to encounter. I think that
Let me just put it out there.
do
The
it?
scorpion was fake.
yeah, it was. The
was
tarantula was very.
It was fake.
Felt like he was eating cake.
Scorpion was fake.
It
Tarantula
was burnt.
fake.
It was-
The only thing that was
I
real
could not
there,
watch it. Was it
even the cockroach was fake.
That
I
wasn't
think
cockroach.
it was fake.
They had to fake it.
Yeah, Morgan downed the entire thing.
my face,
Morgan
yeah.
would not eat shit.
And you see,
She would have preferred to go home than eat that stuff. She downed the entire thing. It was fake.
even
Fake.
onto the
Terrible. They had bad
milkshake, the
acting.
strawberry milkshake that they all had to have, the cakes that they had to. One was sour and the rest was sweet,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
all had to put up an act.
The
for
onion as
other
well.
So
housemates.
that part was scripted, right?
It was scripted. I
That
think
part
that
was
all of
scripted.
it was just good milkshake, and somebody just had to take the.
I died
fall.
and woke up when
Have
I
you
saw that
seen?
thing.
Have you seen what they
because
eat
I could not
on
actually
Survivor?
see it. Man.
They be eating worms, moving worms.
So yeah, was the worm also fake?
The one on
It
the
was
show.
Yes,
fake.
on
They had,
Battlecamp.
guy, we eat worm now. There's a particular
cooked
tribe
it.
in here. There's a particular tribe here in the country that eats
I'm
worms.
dying.
That's edible. I think they call it edible worms,
Girl,
right?
it's actual worm.
That big
The one
thing.
baby girl.
they,
What was on that stuff was warm as well. It was edible warm as
It
well.
was edible. It's actual. No, it's
I'm
warm.
gonna leave the
Yeah,
show.
Warm, but they've
I
roasted
don't even
it.
know. I don't even know what
So
it
long
was.
it's not emotion, baba, it's something else.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just like people eating frogs' legs. It's frogs'
was
legs,
flavorful.
but it's
People
been
eat frog.
Girl,
People eat frog now.
This girl needs to go out. Producer, please cut her some check. Let her go out and eat school food.
I will not chicken and turkey. What is wrong?
People actually eat all of these things, octopus, prawns, and the rest of it.
Okay, I know octopus.
No, of course you know that. But frogs, eggs, and the rest, it's the same things, like eating all of those things. But the spider, the tarantula, all of those things weren't real. It felt like it was fake.
It was fake. It was fake. Most of it was fake.
And the acting was also terrible.
Yeah.
Very, very, very
terrible. It was mediocre.
So
one of the punishments that I really liked though was the ice bath.
Oh no!
No, I would not.
I'm Nigerian. We don't
stand
do
it.
ice bath.
No, I would not.
I loved it. I loved it. I wouldn't have survived.
You love it for yourself,
but
or you
no,
loved
not
it
for myself.
I
For
would
the
not
show.
survive 30 seconds.
30.
And Georgia
30
won. So I
Girl,
was
they had
very
to put their head.
excited.
They were like fully
30
submerged in that
seconds.
thing.
I know because I can't swim. I do not even go close to water.
But
I
that's
don't
like-
like it. So, but that one is not like swimming. But it's so cold. For me, when I get cold, it affects my bone.
Hypothermia.
Me too.
So just imagine me going into that tub and I know I can't. I know I can't.
I felt
will
very
not
bad for
survive.
them.
I would not.
felt
I would
very,
not
very
survive
bad
it.
that
I think some people have
be
to stay there for
tossed.
about 5 minutes.
No, nobody did 5.
No, it
I think
wasn't
the max
five.
was
But
2.
Georgia won.
Georgia won, so it was at 2
Georgia won. There
minutes.
were two. The
Georgia,
ones where they had to
Lorenzo,
do the
and
punishment.
one other person.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the other one where they had to do the individual game. This is not the punishment. Away from the
They did
punishment.
ice bath twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So the individual one where you have to do it individually and not as a team.
Yeah.
I can't remember the people. I think Georgia too was the
Georgia
people.
won
Lorenzo
both.
and
She won
Lorenzo
both,
too.
yeah.
But man, I can't do that.
So let's talk about Lorenzo. Now that you mentioned Lorenzo, because he won. Lorenzo won. Let's talk about Lorenzo's game plan.
Unfortunately, he won.
No, I don't think it's very unfortunate. He won most of the tasks.
Because see,
Most of the individual and group tasks. When they landed the show, when they landed camp,
Wow.
when they landed camp, first episode, first task, before they went into the camp, you know that they had
Yes.
to do a task before they got in. Lorenzo won for his team. Was it his? His team?
Well,
But somebody dropped a flag in the lake. A flag dropped.
that's
flag drop.
Lexi.
It was
Lexi dropped a
Lexi.
flag, but they
Lexi.
paddled. Lorenzo paddled that boat onto the shoreline.
Yes, and got there 4
First, I
minutes.
got there, like,
4 minutes earlier.
Yeah,
than
they
everyone
won by
before
a
the rest.
landslide.
Yes, 4 minutes.
Yeah,
A
they
very,
did.
very strong landslide. Now, here's the thing. He played his game. He played that game well.
So, I don't think we're both coming from a gameplay POV.
But that's no. I
It
think you guys
wasn't
always
just
miss it.
our favorite person to win.
It was not just in
Finish.
our face. So
I would have
he was
preferred-
not. He was not.
I would have preferred that someone else, especially
I
coming
hate
from
you guys.
Squid Game, the challenge. I hated Lorenzo on Squid Game. Despite, oh my god,
Because of his
Squid Game was
accent.
very.
His accent didn't contribute.
Emotions aside, this is
His accent
emotions.
contributed too,
No,
but,
all you're doing
His
now.
accent contributed.
His
You're
accent
fired.
contributed
Out.
too.
Take
But
it away.
so basically for me, I'm very intense with reality shows. And I get emotional and stuff. Like when I'm watching a show, because of how intense I get into it, I'm a reality shows person. I will get emotional. I'm the person that even if you come out of the show, you both are doing lovey-dovey on Instagram, your friends. You're not friends to me, oh. He betrayed you in that fucking house.
Yeah, you should
and we're
carry
going
on
to
with the
keep up
betrayal
same
mindset.
energy. When you go on a separate show, I will not support you. I will support someone else. If you go to a show where there are other stars there, I will definitely find somebody that I like more than you. When immediately I got on Battle Camp, I said it. All the shows that Georgia has been on, To Her Tando, she was my fave. Perfect Match, my fave as well. Coming on to this show as well, even if she was friends with Lorenzo, I didn't hate him. I even the old Squid Game nonsense, I already kept it behind me because he's friends with Georgia, and I'm like, yeah, I have an opinion, right?
Please let me
Oh
laugh.
my god, my head. This is insane. It's crazy. So, Lorenzo, right, wasn't my fave, but I always keep the same fave. I would
Across
never,
board, regardless of what, regardless of their actions on subsequent games, subsequent shows.
It might not be your fave, but I think you're being emotional here. Let's talk about the Battle Camp itself.
Yeah.
Did he deserve to win, or he did not
Of
deserve
course.
to win?
No, I think you should
Away
ask him
from
because I'm very big on
away
Lorenzo.
from your
What he did on
emotion.
Squid Game, Challenge
or
the Challenge.
I think-
let's say you've not seen him on any reality
Yeah.
show before.
I think wrapping it up, multiple people deserved to win. It wasn't just him.
Dude,
Okay.
like,
Yeah, what was
I'll be serious.
that answer is so not it.
Out of everybody, I don't
that
think
got
he
to
would
the
have,
finals,
I don't
or
think
just
he would have,
everybody?
out of everybody that got to the finals, I don't think he was the most deserving, but did he deserve to win? Probably.
No. Dial back. I'm not fighting, guys. I'm just
Who
dropping
do
my
you think
tab.
was the most deserving?
Who was the most deserving? Obviously not QT or Shubi or Georgia. So who?
Georgia was also deserving.
Excuse you.
Georgia
How?
was deserving.
Georgia-
Even QT was
Georgia
deserving as
almost
well.
never
Yeah,
won any task.
QT, like we said, this multiple. There
You
must be
cannot
people
feel
here
advantage.
that.
You are not deserving of the prize.
Oh, forgive her. More forgive her.
I'm not forgiving
Let's
here.
forgive-
Over here,
let's
we do not
forgive-
forgive.
let's forgive her.
Lorenzo.
You're also bringing emotions
Oh
into
no,
it
man,
now.
that's
too.
actually a joke. But now the thing is, Lorenzo scaled through that show or game
I mean, I'm happy for him.
effortlessly.
I'm
Like
not
he was
entirely.
very cheerful, and he
Yeah, it
almost
was.
never had
I
any
think that
enemy.
if it was
I think nobody
on a
even
neutral
voted him
level-
He
so
never,
much.
nobody voted for him.
voted
Like nobody saw
on a
him.
neutral level, Lorenzo did have like one of the best personalities on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was loyal. He kept a bright personality every time. He entertained us.
Yes, he
and
did.
you know, he gave us a show. So like, regardless of if there were other people that were qualified, he did deserve to win. But
And
were
he
there
won.
other people that were deserving as well?
Yes, obviously,
Case
yes.
closed. Case closed.
Yeah.
So, moving forward on Battle Cam, like, of course, season 1 is done. How would you think a proper season 2 should be structured?
Let me talk.
Please
Thank
do.
you. The next one, I think they should add more energy. Another thing is the kind of the will thing. They should look for something to do about that thing. Maybe it should be better. And if it is scripted, they should take out the people that are not useful. So now taking out yes, what I'm saying not useful because Nick. When they took out Nick, they took out Chase. I think was it Chase? Yes, they took out Chase. I feel like these people are the most energetic people that should still stay till the end.
No, Chase was proper reality show material.
No, Chase was
Did he
top
Chase?
6. Chase was on top 6.
If it's not Chase, then it's I think Kyle.
Kyle is who you're talking about.
Kyle,
Okay.
Kyle and Nick. So if it is scripted, there are certain people that maybe the weak ones, I won't say the weak ones, I think the stronger ones should probably remain till the end if it's actually scripted. I understand why they kept Trey, because Trey is somebody that everybody wanted him to leave, and yes, he's going to make the show more interesting. So we should put more people that would be hyping for when they are doing a lot of challenge because of this, like the climbing, you needed people like, oh, you're going to press the one where they had to climb and, press a particular
the shock
buzzer,
buzzer.
the shock buzzer, right? So those kind
So
of
I don't
things, it
think that
was
those guys were
interesting.
actually executed, but you can continue.
You don't
I don't think
what?
that they were actually electrocuted, but you can continue.
Because they didn't feel it.
Girl, have you been shot before?
Hi.
They can't use extreme shock.
There was now that one
on
now.
TV. They can't do that.
And then why
can't be
tell us you are
extreme.
going to be electrocuted when there's no current?
Because,
No, but
I
I think
understand
they
it.
were actually shocked. But like,
And you did not.
yeah, it was just very. It
Light.
wasn't as bad. The current
That's like
wasn't
1
as.
volt. 1 volt.
I don't-
0.5.
Or 0.5.
I'm not as
Bro, they were not
mathematical.
shocked.
I don't
They were
understand
not
the
shocked
numbers,
at
but like,
all.
I think they were.
But honestly, they should
Netflix
put
wouldn't
more
do that.
effort.
They
No,
would
no,
not
they
take
should
us
actually.
shock.
Before you go climb that thing again. We said it all.
But
but
they
it
will
can't
not
be that
do that.
bad.
They will not do that.
They won't get
will
to that
actually
point.
not do that.
They're
You will not
recording a show.
recover.
Yeah, you want to beat me.
But the thing is, they should actually put more effort, in that particular aspect, the challenges and maybe the punishment, like you said, it should probably be more real, genuine, not. You guys, I could not watch it, but if it was truly, cockroach, you should make it like a real cockroach and let's
Once he moves, he has to move.
there was one show.
No,
there
not
was one.
even move. There was no goo.
There was a
nothing.
particular
It
show
was dry and stuff.
I think it was MTV based at some point.
Has to be MTV. Has to be MTV.
No, it was Nigerian MTV based. So years back, I remember Tonto Dige having to
MTV
eat
is the only
ewedu, custard, and spaghetti in one mix. I think it was Tonto Dige. I can't remember. It was like way back. That kind of thing. Now I will not eat it. But she was actually forced to, have to eat it. So that is real. So that one should be
Show
real.
you guys what I eat. I eat weird
Ban,
stuff. You know now. You know me. The other diet knows me. I eat weird stuff.
Oh no. Your toilet doesn't like you.
Oh man! So it's been a great show. It's been a great show. So one thing is that you guys should expect more reality shows. Like we like to break this down. And yes, thank you, Dafe, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you
super
for
great.
having
You were
me.
super great. You did amazing.
Thank you.
So we'll probably have you
You're
next
so
time.
sweet.
Another thing is go check this show out. Go and check out
you
Battle
should
Camp.
definitely watch Battle
But I
Camp.
know that we sound like we've torn down the show, but it actually was a good watch.
It was entertaining. I think that one thing for sure, if you want to stay entertained, Battle Camp did it for me.
All right.
Did it.
I had a great time.
I had a great
So yes,
time.
check us out or listen to this, watch, do everything, subscribe. And yes, don't forget to listen and download Jamit.app. We love you.
Ciao.
Till next time. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.